I have had it. I'm now a dedicated gaming channel. Expect no further content about Klongs until I inevitably get an idea bad enough to make a video about. So I wanted to see a quick guide to using the Ta-152, but there wasn't one. So I made one. The first thing you will notice about this plane is the shape. The wings are much wider and thinner,
and the whole plane looks like the blueprints were put through a content-aware filter that focused on the blue instead of the plane. The plane looks like this because a Lord and Savior Kurt Tank needed to make a plane that could take out B-29s. It never got the chance though, as Tank took a vacation in Argentina. As such, the high altitude hero was created. The Ta-152H1. In realistic battles, which you are playing, if you have made it this far in the tree, because arcade doesn't pay shit, the plane has a decent climb rate, but you'll still have to climb to get to 6,000 meters, and up where the plane shines brightest. Once you are up there, you become a lot faster, but you lose some maneuverability. This is good on its own, but more importantly your opponents become a lot slower. As for armaments, you have two 20mm cannons in the wings, and one 30mm cannon in the nose. The 30mm is a close-range cannon, aptly named the Sledgehammer, because you are essentially throwing explosive bricks at your opponent. It has the worst ballistics in the game, but should you manage to hit someone with it, they will find that their wings have migrated to Providence, Rhode Island. The 20mm are just kind of there. Also, there is much less ammo than its predecessors, so you have to ration your bullets. Using the plane as an interceptor often yields decent results. In a good game you may get 2 bomber kills, even in a bad game you'll still get 1 kill, to break even on the exorbitant repair cost of the stratospheric striker. If you are really out of luck, and find the skies emptier than a Brazilian Olympic stadium, take solace in the fact that at least you can see the tiled farmland from up there. If you think this approach is bullshit and want to blast those Spitfires that have killed your FW-190D9 one too many times, or if the opposing team is full of idiots, which it often is, and has picked all fighters, well you are in luck. The TAR is also a capable fighter, but only if you use it right. The great thing about the 152 is that it is decent enough at retaining energy, to the point where coming out of a dive you can outrun a P-47 if you have enough altitude. If things go sideways, you can always dive out. This plane is capable of going over 800 km an hour in a dive, and pulling out of such a dive will not rip your wings. Head-ons may be the mark of a pilot that has an IQ equal to the amount of money they spent on the game, but even with the Sledgehammer the TAR is very good at them. One well-placed 30mm round can end the fight. If you weren't paying attention and are now in a dogfight, don't worry. You can turn relatively well if you use your combat flaps without sacrificing too much energy. The neglected stepchild of the FW-190 also shares genes with the D-series, meaning it can take a beating and still make it home. Unfortunately, in my experience it lacks the one wing as enough ability that makes the D9 the most survivable plane I have ever used. Even still, just keep your cockpit away from your opponents and you should be relatively fine. Relatively. If you are going for the interceptor role, your targets are pretty easy. You have the B-17, the B-24/PB-4Y, and the Lincoln. All of these are easy to take out, so long as you don't spend too much time near them. The B-24 and PB-4Y are especially dangerous from behind, so try to attack them from the front or above. Sniping the pilot or lighting an engine up is the best way to deal with bombers, keeping your confrontations as quick and clean as possible. The one plane you definitely won't have trouble with is the B-29, because Gaijin decided that the bomber should have an RBBR of 7.0, which is utter garbage, or maybe it isn't, and I'll come to regret asking to fight B-29s. Fighters are a much different story. Their idea of a prank is diving on you before you can reach your full altitude and riddling your skull with bullets from a Browning machine gun. Griffin Spitfires give you a lot of trouble if you aren't careful. Luckily, you have a superior speed at high altitudes, and if they are threatening to catch up, just whip and enter a shallow dive. Use that speed to try to force them up higher and make them stall. Remember your flaps. You cannot make the quick turns required to fight Tiabus without them. Don't worry about them ripping, as their rip speed is incredibly high, over 900 km over 600 km an hour. Use your superior performance to tell Nigel what you really think about Winston Churchill. However, there is one plane that will be the bane of your existence. The level of jackassery I have seen fighting P-51H pilots is astounding. I climb above 6,000 meters to get the jump on the bombers, and two of these smooth brains are like, oh look at me. I chose the American tree and got a fighter with a busted climb rate and a higher speed at the TARS altitude that didn't even see combat with a BR of 6.3, just 0.3 higher than the supposed best high altitude plane of World War II. The kicker is you can't complain, because it isn't Russian bias. Even in a dive you can't outrun them, and you are pushing Mach 0.8 in these dives. Gaijin, please fix. You can protect against this by side climbing, which in a surprise to no one is climbing, but to the side. You'll still get killed, but you can at least say you tried, and the degenerates you are fighting are using the plane as a crutch, which they are. Since this is technically a guide, I must discuss the upgrades. As with literally every other plane in the game, you upgrade plane first, weapons second. Never mind that the stock guns aren't actually secured to the inside of the plane. Just get really close, and then you won't miss. And don't even try to engage fighters if you have enough guns. Side note, it is really fun to do sneak attacks with this plane. After you've cleared the skies at over 7,000 meters, do a shallow dive and turn off your engine. Pick a target and wait. They'll only hear you once you've started shooting. That poor bastard had no warning. I hope you enjoyed that contagious cancer, and remember, it's always Tuesday somewhere.